How to lose weight fast without dieting. What's up everybody, it's Jing here from Authentic Energy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Ask Me Anything Friday, where you can ask me anything regarding healthy lifestyle, weight loss, healthy nutrition, body confidence, body image, or anything you want to know about me. Okay, so every Friday I actually collect a few best questions from you guys. Doesn't matter if you leave the questions in the comment or in my DM, in my email. If I see them as something that's really useful for a lot of people out there, I'll pick them out and I'll be here to answer your questions and give you all the details. Okay, so you ready for today's juicy question? How do I lose weight fast without dieting? Okay, right. I believe whoever asked this question, I'm not going to disclose the name unless I have their permission. Okay, but for this week, I'm just going to keep all the names, confidential. Okay, but I know that this question has come up to me like all the time, every week. Every week I receive questions like this. How do I lose weight fast? How can I lose weight in like 3 days? I have like a wedding, I have an event, a photo shoot to go to. I really need to lose the weight. So what do I do? And here I am gonna give you guys the healthy solution. Okay, I'm not gonna give you the crash diet solution, which is why the title for today is how to lose weight fast without dieting. Okay, now before we go into my tips for how to lose weight fast, I do want to mention that when I say dieting here, I'm referring to the conventional way of losing weight. When people refer to diet as in crash diet or like a fast or a juice fast, skipping meals, eating only one apple a day and drinking lots of water, or eating lettuce and drinking water only, that kind of diet. Okay, but in health and fitness, we actually refer to diet as our daily nutrition. That is the word diet is supposed to mean, but in the whole pop culture, now the word diet, basically gives people the impression that it's a very painful, restrictive, eating lifestyle. Now, it is absolutely possible to lose weight fast, in a healthy way, fast and healthy, without doing the extreme things like, crash diet and that. And for me, the tips I'm about to give you is based on eating right, eating smart and eating right. And always tell you guys that simply by adjusting what you eat, because 80% nutrition, 20% fitness, right? Just simply by adjusting what you eat, you can make a huge change to the way your body feels, to the way that your scale looks, your body weight feels. Now, the 3 tips I'm going to give you are meal intervals, nutrient ratio per meal, and calories per meal. You can write those down, and we're going to break them down in a second. Now, tip number 1, meal intervals. You have to make sure that you eat a healthy meal every 3 to 4 hours in a day. Now, we don't want you to skip meals. You absolutely have to eat your meals every 3 to 4 hours. And especially breakfast. That is the first meal you take, the first thing you wake up in the morning. And I suggest everybody to take your breakfast within 1 hour of waking up. And just like I mentioned before in my previous videos and also in my live previously, that having a protein balanced breakfast is very important, because you don't want to go for the carb-loaded breakfast, which basically, spikes your blood sugar level and it makes your blood sugar level go crazy. So you don't want to go for a carb-loaded breakfast. You want to go for protein-balanced breakfast. And also having good regular meal intervals throughout the day. So if you're eating every 3 to 4 hours, that means in the day you usually have 5 to 6 meals. Okay, and when we do that, that is basically to make sure that our blood sugar level stays stable. We want to have stable blood sugar level. By having stable blood sugar level, that is actually to ensure that our body can metabolize food properly, and also our body can burn fat properly. Okay, so sometimes, if you feel like super hungry when it comes to your lunch or your next meal, that means you didn't actually eat enough in the last meal, or you didn't have enough nutrients in your last meal. So you don't want to come to your meal and feeling super hungry. Now, if when it comes to mealtime and if you don't feel hungry, that's usually a sign that you probably ate too much in the last meal. Okay, so if you do follow the meal interval that you eat every 3 to 4 hours, and if you don't feel hungry when the next meal time comes, which means you can actually have half the portion, or maybe quarter or 1/3 of the portion. You don't have to eat as much. Okay, but do make sure that your body takes in food every 3 to 4 hours. Okay, and for the evening, for my students and clients, I usually suggest to have protein and fiber dense meal in the evening. So not a carb based. You want to leave most of your carbs consumption during the day, like especially for lunch. But in the evening, you want to opt for protein and fiber dense meal. And you do want to take in your last meal of the day, at least in my coaching, at least 2 hours before your bedtime. Okay, so this is tip number 1, meal intervals. Now, tip number 2, nutrient ratio per meal. Now, again, this is about bringing the awareness to how we eat and what kind of nutrients that we're feeding our body with. Those of you who have been following me for some time, can you actually name the nutrient portion that I always suggest you guys? And if you're my student already, can you type it in the comments? What is the nutrient ratio that I always suggest all of you to follow? That's right. So when it comes to nutrients, I'm referring to carbohydrate, fats, and protein, the 3 macronutrients our body needs. And for a healthy diet, and also for people who want to work on their body weight, we suggest 30% protein, 30% healthy fats, and 40% healthy carbohydrate. Okay, not too much refined carbohydrate, but complex carbohydrate, meaning that most of the carbohydrate should come from your fruits and vegetables, and also your whole grain, multi-grain, bread or multi-grain noodle, and what else? Your seeds and nuts, those kind of stuff. Okay, the complex carbs, which contain a lot of fiber and a lot of vitamins and different nutrients. Okay, so that is what I mean by the complex carbs. And then, so that's 40%. And going back, 30% of healthy fats. Okay, so we have to be very aware where our fat sources are. Okay, where does our fat come from? Does it come from trans fat, processed peanut butter, for example? Or our fat source comes from healthy fat source such as omega-3. Okay, so where do we get our omega-3? Nuts and seeds, avocado, and also those of you who do consume fish. Salmon fish is a good example. Okay, so that is what I mean by healthy fats. But of course, it's hard to have 100% of your fats coming from omega-3. We also need a little bit of omega-6, but in very moderation, small portion. So saturated fats usually come from different animal products, different animal proteins. Okay, animal products basically. When you eat like pork, and when you eat lamb, when you eat you name it, like beef and chicken, you're actually taking a lot of saturated fat from the animal meat. So that's something we need to be aware of. Okay, and then lastly, 30% of lean protein. Okay, so what do I mean by lean protein? Lean protein, I do suggest my students and clients to go for white meat, such as chicken, fish. And if you do go for red meat, you can actually go for, the lean, the leaner type of your red meat, meaning that, say, for example, if you want to go for beef, you don't want to go for the fatty beef. You don't want to go for the marble, the Wagyu, right? You want to go for the type that actually have like the least amount of fat. Okay, so that way you can actually control the amount of lean protein that you're taking into your body. It is absolutely important to make sure that we have the right nutrient portion so that our body can take in the right essential nutrients without storing too much fat. So the problem with the modern diet with a lot of people when they gain weight is the fact that, they're actually, firstly, like I mentioned in the last tip, the meal interval, they're not eating at regular times, and, they're eating quite randomly. And a lot of times our blood sugar level cannot be stabilized because of the way we eat. Okay, and that's one point. And the second point is that a lot of times people overconsume carbohydrate. So when we overconsume carbohydrate, they stay in our body and actually stored as fat. So that is why people gain weight quite easily. And with the modern day diet, a lot of the food is really, heavy on carbs. So you have to be absolutely aware of what are your nutrient portions. Okay, what kind of nutrients you put into your body. So that is why when people start on a weight loss journey, I always give them a meal plan based on what their personal needs are. And a lot of times you will see that a lot of the meal plans do contain, big portions of protein, and we're very mindful. We're very emphasizing on, how much protein you're taking in. Okay, so those of you who are on the Herbalife program and you know that Herbalife product, Herbalife healthy breakfast sets are always focusing on the balance, the meal balance, and also protein balance. So you don't have to think too much. Those of you who don't like the hassles and you don't want to think too much, when you're on our Herbalife meal programs, all the proteins and all the carbohydrates and healthy fats are already calculated for you in the 30-40 portion, so you don't need to think about it. So that is why when people are on our Herbalife program, they lose weight fast. Okay, so but I don't want to include that here as saying, oh, just join us on Herbalife program and you will lose weight fast. Yes, that is a given. And those of you who are watching this video right now, I know you're already on this Herbalife journey with us. So I don't need to mention that, but this is just like a general knowledge for you guys. Okay, so now tip number 3, calories per meal. Okay, so calories per meal, by which I mean that you have to be aware, you absolutely have to be aware of how many calories that you are taking in per meal. Now, are you asking me, I can see all of you guys are asking me like, oh man, doesn't mean that I have to start counting my calories. Well, you don't exactly have to count every single calorie that you're eating, but you do have to be aware, meaning that you do need to actually educate yourself at least a little bit on the fundamental level of which kind of food, has the most amount of calories, which kind of food have, high calories but low nutrients. That is the fundamental thing that we all need to know. And that is something that I like to educate my clients on, because I don't want them to rely on, me telling them everything all the time, because my job is to educate everybody so that even when I'm not around, you are able to take care of yourself. So the most basic thing is we want to consume food that is high in nutrients but low in calories. So an example of something that's high in nutrients and low in calories, our shake, our Formula 1 shake. Okay, that is one example. And also if we're talking about that the food we can get from the markets and the grocery stores, fruits and vegetables, that is one example. Usually whole foods, whole foods, unprocessed foods are relatively higher in nutrients and lower in calories. So you do need to do your study. I actually have a lot of information on the list of food and their corresponding calories and also nutrients. If any of you are interested, please write in the comment that you want to have the nutrient list, so I'll be able to send it to you, or give me your email so I'll be able to send it to you. So from there you can do your study of what kind of food that have high calories, what kind of food have little calories, so that in each meal you are able to actually decide for yourself what kind of food I should be having that will give me the right amount of calories. Okay, not like super high calories. For example, I heard that in Shake Shack, just an example, in a lot of fast food joints, a lot of the meal deal, like the burger, the shakes, and fries, it comes up to 1,000 calories. Okay, that is scary, like 1,000 calories in a meal. So that is something we want to avoid, especially if you want to lose weight fast. That is something you want to avoid, okay? So you do need to do a little bit of the study to know, at least have some fundamental knowledge of what kind of food contain like very high calories but very little nutrients. So just a quick general rule of thumb for everybody is that for female, okay, each meal you want to consume about 250 to 350 calories. Okay, that is for a sedentary lifestyle. Okay, so if you're a female and your lifestyle is pretty sedentary, you're not really active, you don't work out that much, or your job does not involve a lot of physical work, then your calorie per meal should be about 250 to 350 calories. Okay, but if you're an athlete, or if you're an athlete, that's a different story. But if you're someone who's really active, okay, then you should increase each meal calorie by 100. So we're talking about 400 to 450 calories. Okay, so that's it. Sorry, 350 to 450. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I didn't do my maths right. Okay, so if you're male, then the average, if you're male and sedentary, average calorie per meal should be about 450. Okay. 450 to 500 calories. Yeah, so male slightly higher than female, so about 100 to 150 calories more than female. Okay, because males tend to have larger bodies and also more muscle mass, so men usually consume more energy than women. Okay, so this is just a reference for you, for all of you, but I seriously don't encourage people to count calories all day. But what you can count is, go back to my tip number 2, the nutrient ratio. Count your nutrients, count the nutrients per meal. And I know a lot of you don't want to sit there and study all the numbers and things like that. But what you can do is you can actually use apps such as MyFitnessPal, which is one of my favorite apps, to record down your meals for just maybe 2 days or 3 days, right? I know you probably have to do your homework for a few days, and then that will give you a pattern that will actually give you a whole overall view of how you're eating and where your how is your nutrient balance looks, how is your nutrient ratio looks overall. So that's why I love using an app like that to help me gauge how much I've been having and how much is missing and how can I make up the differences. So I highly encourage that. I'm not sponsored by MyFitnessPal, but I just do want to recommend this to all of you. I recommend a lot of my clients to use MyFitnessPal to record their meal intake, and that will actually, without you calculating, the app will actually calculate your total nutrient ratio and your total nutrient counting throughout the day. So that will actually give you a better picture of how much protein, carbs, and fats that you've been having, and where do they come from. And also at the same time, when you do your nutrients right in the right portion, this actually keeps your calories in the right range. Your calories will not go crazy. And that is based on my experience. When you actually focus on nutrient counting, not calorie counting, you always tend to do the right thing. Okay, so these are my 3 tips for eating right to help you lose weight fast, without crash diet, without juice fast, without any kind of fast. I'm not a fan of fasting, to be honest. So I do get a lot of people asking me about fasting all the time, but the one type of fasting I understand and I know, and also people in my community practice, is fasting for spiritual and religious purpose. That is the only type of fast that I am supporting. I don't really suggest any other type of fast unless it's being advised by your physician or by a trusted source that you really need to do it for a particular health reason. Okay, otherwise I don't suggest it. And if anybody is considering a fast for whatever reason, I don't suggest you to do it without any supervision. Do consult your doctors or physician or someone about it before you start. Okay, so I feel really responsible when people ask me about fasting. I personally don't have much fasting experience, and also I personally don't support it. So just telling you guys, if you ask me about fasting again, I'll give you the same answer. Okay, so these are my 3 lose weight fast tips. Number 1, remember your meal interval, 5 to 6 meals a day, and eat every 3 to 4 hours. But also remember, each meal, keep the portion small. Okay, so we're talking about eating more frequently, but smaller portion. Okay, and tip number 2 is your nutrient ratio per meal. okay, and making sure that you have 30% healthy fats, 30% lean protein, and 40% carbohydrate, okay. And the last tip is your calories per meal. Okay, when I say that, maybe I should rephrase it, be aware, be mindful of the calorie intake. Okay, so we don't overconsume too much calorie and they, store as fat in our body. We do want to keep the calories in the healthy range that is proportion to our lifestyle and to our movement, to how much calories we're burning. Because the basic weight loss law is, you will lose weight when you're actually burning more calories than the calories you consume, right? And you gain weight when you consume more calories than the calories you burn. Okay, so that is the basic weight loss law here. But of course, it's not always accurate depending on what your body conditions like, your hormones, your stress levels, and so many different factors. But the basic is actually the same. The basic science is there. So those of you who are not so active, you are very sedentary most of the day, then we really do have to we'll have to apply these three tips that I just mentioned here. And remember to drink lots of water, at least 3 liters of water a day. Okay, do these things and you try it for a month and you will see the result. Okay, and of course, if you pair it with our Herbalife program, you will see the result faster. Okay, so that is my answer to the question of the week, which is how do you lose weight fast without dieting? And I know that I usually go into like big, in-depth detail explaining for each question. So I decided I'm not gonna pick 5 questions to answer each time. So I will pick 2. So this is the first one. I know I have so much passion in helping all of you become healthy and happier. That's why I always go into details. And the second question is just a bonus, a very quick one, is that I get a lot of girls asking me, can I lose 25 kg in like 1 month, 2 months? I do get this all the time. Some of you may be shocked that really people want to lose this much amount of fat so fast, this amount of weight so fast. Yes, I think due to different reasons, it could be like an event, it could be something that's coming up, and suddenly you realize that, okay, I want to feel better, I want to look different. Right, so we're talking about body image. That's another topic, so stay tuned. I have a lot to say about body image and body confidence, so that's another topic. But just on the technicality side, on the mechanics of how to lose weight, it is not healthy, okay, to lose this amount of weight, 25 kg in 2 months. Let's say 2 months time, 1 month, not possible. If it's possible, okay, under very extreme condition and with extreme measure, you may lose that amount of weight. We're talking about starvation, really, and crash diet, like maybe eating 1 apple a day and not eating anything else. Given that, you may be able to drop this amount of weight in such a short amount of time. But can you imagine the consequence? There can be a lot of metabolic damage. There can be a lot of other health issues stem from this, and also most importantly, it is not sustainable, right? Remember this, it is not sustainable to do some kind of fast, some kind of like juice diet for a long time, so I don't recommend it. And I'm pretty sure after this video comes out, there will be a lot of you guys still asking me, I need to lose XYZ amount of weight. Like, we're talking about the amount of weight that's beyond the realistic goal, the realistic, the possibility, right? So just have to, I just need everybody to remember this, okay? So the average healthy weight loss should be 1 to 2 pounds per week. Okay, so some people may say that it's 1 kilo per week, optimistically speaking. Okay, not everybody will lose 1 kilo per week. Okay, so that's why we say 1 to 2 pounds, so half a kilo. Okay, half a kilo to 1 kilo per week. This is the average optimistic healthy weight loss rate. Okay, so going by that, if we say we lose, optimistically speaking, 1 kilo of weight per week, so in a month we're talking about 4 kilos a month, right? So I usually tell people that it really depends, it varies depending on your lifestyle and how diligent you are. I have seen my clients losing like 10 or 12 kg in 2 months, right? So that's more than 1 kg per week. But then the way that weight loss works is, if we're drawing a graph here, right? It's never kind of like, okay, if we're talking about weight dropping, okay, a slope. It's never a smooth, like a slant a slant line like this, like we just keep dropping every week like that. It never works like that, even though the statistic says that it's average 1 kilo, half a kilo per week, but you're never gonna be like this consistently. You may in your first month, usually from my 5+ years of experience, usually in the first month you see like this gradual drop, but after 1 to 1.5 or 2 months, usually around 1.5 to 2 months time, this is when you start to see your weight plateauing. Okay, it starts to stop dropping. Okay, don't panic, because we all go through plateau. Our body is very smart. Okay, so this is what happens. Okay, and then that's when we need to start to adjust our food intake, adjust our nutrition again. And with the adjustment, okay, and also we have to also look at the body movement, the exercise adjustment as well. That is when we start to drop weight again. Okay, so like a very realistic graph, if I have to draw for weight loss, it goes like this: down, plateau, down, maybe a little bit up and down, up, down, up, down. But the trend is actually downward trend. Okay, if you're doing everything right, okay, your weight should be dropping gradually, but it's not a smooth sail. There will be times where your weight goes up and then it goes down, or it doesn't change for a little while. It's bound to happen. So I do want to give all of you a clear picture. Okay, so losing 20 to 25 kg or more than that in a very short amount of time, I'm talking about like 1 month or 2 months, that kind of time frame is not possible. Okay, unless you go for, I don't know, surgeries. Right? I don't recommend that. Don't go for that. Okay, there can be a lot of dangerous consequences. So we're here to promote healthy weight management. Okay, healthy weight management. So whether if you're working on healthy weight gain or healthy weight loss, we want to do it a healthy way. We want to do it a sustainable way, so that it's not just for short-term purpose. It is for long-term, that it becomes your lifestyle. Okay, for the long term, and that is my goal here. Okay, so I hope I've answered your top 2 questions for this week. And if any of you have any questions, for Friday, every Friday is going to be Ask Me Anything Friday. Okay, write your questions in the comments, and also write your question. You can send your question to my team email, which is team@authenticenergy.co. Okay, make sure you send us your questions, and my team and I will pick the best questions to answer. Okay, and if you do want me to disclose your name, I'll be happy to do that. I'll be happy to give you a shout out. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, everybody. And if you do love this episode, make sure you like and share and comment. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because I come here every week to give you the best tips and best values for your personal success and personal wellness, to help you become healthier and more happy and more confident. Okay, and before you go, don't forget to check out my Authentic Energy Online Fit Club. This is where I get to work out with you live. This is where I actually share my healthy recipes, my healthy tips, and also those of you who want to get Herbalife coaching from me, but you got your products from somewhere else, I can actually be there to help you. Okay, this is my chance to be your coach and to give you the personalized advice and also meal plans. Okay, only if you become a Fit Club member, that is the only way you can get my coaching. Okay, so make sure you check it out here. Okay, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.